feel very proud. I feel very excited because, after 12 years no fighting in my hometown, and after all I've been done in boxing, I think it's very special for me.
Hey, my friend, with all my respect, I told you, easy money. It is what it is.
Damas y caballeros de la Guadalajara, Jalisco, México, Sal Canelo.
I come to my hometown like the best fighter. No, I'm almost retiring and everything. Being the best, and that's special for the people too.
With his feet, his head movement has been brilliant in the last couple of fights.
This is fantastic defense in this round from Canelo, and he punctuates it with a jab. Viva Mexico, cabrones!
Boxing's biggest superstar, Saul Canelo Alvarez, returns to his native of Guadalajara, Mexico, his homecoming which is long awaited since November 2011. And what better day to pick than Cinco de Mayo weekend, May 6, 2023, when Canelo steps in the ring in Estadio Akron, Guadalajara, Mexico, against Brit John Ryder, who represents a completely different proposition than Canelo's two previous opponents in 2022.
He's done great things in the sport, but now I'm looking at him as a rival. The respect is there, but I'm not going to be handshakes and selfies. Do you know what I mean? It's we're there to do a job, and it's go time.
This time around, the undisputed super-middleweight champion of the world faces an opponent who has the style that can offer fireworks, resulting in a stoppage. Hey, what's going on, Ringsiders? This is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer, and welcome back to Ringside Stories. Or if you're new, we make content about boxing through mini documentaries, backstories, and much more. So if you enjoy that type of content, feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that notification bell for the latest here on Ringside Stories. Thanks so much for your support in advance, and welcome to the channel. So on May 6, 2023, Cinco de Mayo weekend, Saul Canelo Alvarez faces WBO interim titleist John Ryder. There are some questions about this ring return. What tactics will Saul Canelo Alvarez use? What can John Ryder do to offset Canelo's boxing and counterpunching ability? How well will Ryder be able to deal with Canelo's body shots should the pound-for-pound superstar choose to go that route?
You're not on my level, and you will see. You're not gonna find out. I promise you.
Although the Mexican recorded his last stoppage in November 2021 against then undefeated IBF world champ Sweet Hands Caleb Plant, though not a concussive one-punch knockout artist, Saul Canelo Alvarez has proven over the years to be a formidable puncher. Canelo's last two opponents were technical and crafty veterans who made it difficult for Canelo by default. Yes, Gennadiy Golovkin moved up to 168, but he fought Canelo twice prior, which were great and relatively close fights, when Triple G was closer to his prime. And coming into the Canelo Triple G trilogy, had a lot of experience in dealing with Canelo Alvarez. And on Cinco de Mayo weekend 2022, Canelo got outboxed and outclassed by then undefeated WBA 175-pound world champion Dimitri Bivol. So although Saul Canelo Alvarez is one of the current best fighters in the world, he is looking to redeem himself, looking to make a statement, proving he is still the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world in front of his people in his hometown of Guadalajara, Mexico.
This fight is very, very special for me to bring my people this experience what I have in all around the world in my hometown. I feel very special.
Now, Canelo will face a good fighter who has shared the ring with common opponents. First off, Canelo's sparring partner Bilal Akkawy, who Ryder stopped in 3. Then there's former WBA regular world champion Rocky Fielding, former middleweight world champion Danny Jacobs, former two-weight world champion Billy Joe Saunders, and former super middleweight world champion Callum Smith, which to many objective observers was a controversial decision in favor of Callum Smith. Other than the loss to Callum Smith, the Gorilla has been on a winning streak, winning 8 of his last 9 fights, and that includes his last fight against then undefeated WBO top contender Zach Parker. John Ryder is an experienced Brit with close to 40 pro fights, 32 wins, 18 wins coming by way of stoppage. Though not a concussive puncher, John Ryder has the work rate, the toughness, he is a southpaw, and has the ability to go 12 rounds, which is proof of John Ryder's durability and endurance. Unlike most of his recent opponents, in this fight, most likely Canelo will not have to look for his opponent. Sure, Canelo became undisputed world champion at 168 by being more of a pressure fighter, though that is not Canelo's primary fighting style. In fact, Canelo's bread and butter is his counterpunching and boxing ability. Against John Ryder, Canelo will most likely be able to resort back to the style that made him the fighter that he is today. Now, with Canelo's 60-plus professional fights, having fought since the age of 15, Canelo has the experience being exposed to all styles all around the world and also fighting on an elite level for the last 10-plus years. And given this fight takes place in his home native of Guadalajara, Mexico, being that this fight takes place during Cinco de Mayo weekend, Saul Canelo Alvarez will have the backing of his hometown and most likely the officials, because make no mistake, this is the Canelo Show. The #1 superstar in boxing as of the making of this recording was haunted by a relatively flat 2022, not being able to take out Gennadiy Golovkin, who at that time was an old, way past his prime version of Golovkin, and the second professional loss of his career on Cinco de Mayo weekend in 2022 at the hands of Dimitri Bivol, who Canelo most likely will be targeting to rematch if he gets past John Ryder later in 2023.
You know, everybody knows I want that rematch with Bivol. That's my goal this year. If not happening, then we'll see what happened. But that's my goal this year.
For John Ryder, this is an adventure, venturing outside of his familiar territory of the United Kingdom. This is another shot at World Championship glory, this time around for all of the marbles in the 168-pound division, with the biggest payday of his career by far.
John Ryder's a tough customer. He fought Daniel Jacobs, Colin Smith. He gave him a good fight. I think Canelo beat him, but I think he'll have a tough time. But it's going to be a great fight anyways.
With the momentum of some good wins in recent memory, surely being self-confidence, the question is, will John Ryder be able to cause an upset of historical heights? The pressure may be on Saul Canelo Alvarez for him to perform not only great, but also to give the fans in his home country something to be proud of, and to remember this Cinco de Mayo weekend, proving that Canelo is not only the undisputed world champion in the super middleweight division, but also proving that Canelo is still one of the best pound-for-pound level fighters in the world of boxing today.
You can retire right now, or after this fight, and still become first ballot Hall of Fame. What do you have to prove now?
Nothing, just continue doing my best and fight the best and grow up my legacy, because I want to be one of the best fighters in history, so I try to compete with that kind of fighters, of course, and I respect all what they do for boxing, for everything, for history. I'm just glad to be part of this history.
In terms of the course of the fight, I personally see Canelo going back to his counterpunching style, waiting for his opportunities to lure John Ryder in, seeing the Brit putting up a valiant effort, pressing the action but getting countered with shots to the head and body, which will eventually result in either a stoppage in and around round 6 or a beating for 12 rounds, similar to the Callum Smith fight back in 2020. But what do you make of this fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and John Ryder? What do you think of Canelo giving back to the fans in his hometown of Mexico? And how do you expect Canelo to perform on Cinco de Mayo weekend 2023? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you enjoy content like this and you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell. It helps the channel out a lot, i.e. inspire us to make more quality content for y'all. As always, thanks so much for your support in advance, and welcome to Ringside Stories. If you've done that already, you're amazing. We already know that you are the true undisputed world champion. So next time, Ringsiders, this is your host, Boxing's Objective Observer with Ringside Stories. Thanks for watching and have a legendary day.